What up? What up? What up? What's happening? What up? I appreciate y'all checking me out. As always, man, listen, I've been watching hoop all day long. I watched every single last game. It was a moment throughout the day where the Lakers and the Mavs was playing. Listen, man, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't turn it off. I let it play, but I started cleaning up in the process. I just really wasn't locked into the game. Without Anthony Davis, the Lakers serve no threat, no purpose to any team. But it was a good test. Uh, it was a good test for both teams. I mean, I really think it was a good matchup. I think it was just like player for player on a player for player level, talent wise, I think it was a pretty decent matchup. I think Anthony Davis would have made the game. I think Anthony Davis would have actually made the game unfair. I don't think they got nobody who really could have kept up with Anthony Davis. I think most of the guys probably would have fouled out trying to keep up with him. Plus, LeBron put up a great Christmas game as well. So it might would have been a little bit difficult to try to do anything with them. But whatever the case may be, I just wanted to, before I wrap up for the night, man, just give my final thoughts on all the teams that played today. So we'll start off with the first game. Philly and the Knicks. Philly looked great. I can see them beating certain teams, maybe the Bucks, maybe the Heat or the Nets, just because Joel Embiid is that dominant of a force. When it comes to somebody like the Bucks, I think it could be a rough matchup because of the physicality. That could really go both ways. I mean, depending on how the referees feel that day. If it came down to the finals, I think they could get like, if they made it to like the finals, I think they could get like the Warriors. I think Joel Embiid would be that big versus the Golden State Warriors. And I think that the Sixers have a top 5 defense and enough young players that would be able to keep up with the energy of the young guys with the Warriors. I think the Grizzlies might be another team that will probably be too physical for the 76ers. I mean, just because we look at what before Mitch Robb, before he got into foul trouble today, he was really doing a pretty good job of disturbing Joel Embiid's rhythm. So I think with a guy like Steven Adams, I think maybe Steven Adams and Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson, who is a great rim protector, Bobby Portis is going to get physical with you. Giannis is going to get physical with you. Brook Lopez is going to get physical with you. And then the Miami Heat, they just a team who can, they just good. They just got good strategizing. That's why they are even able to be mentioned in the same breath as other playoff teams. The Brooklyn Nets, that could be a lot for the Sixers to handle. The Knicks are ass outside of Jalen Brunson and Coach Tibbs. Game 2, the Dallas Mavericks, they should really keep their eye out on the trade market, and they should try to look to use some of the pieces that they got right now and try to upgrade around Luka. I think they a team with potential. I think Jason Kidd is a coach for any team around the league. He could handle any team around the league. He could put a plan together with whatever you give him. He's a defensive-minded coach, creative coach, and he's a former player who can, a respected player who can manage the egos and personalities of, I think, any team across the league, honestly. I think they have to rely too much on perimeter shots or Tim Hardaway being the second best scoring option outside of Luka. I believe that Christian Wood should have a bigger role within that offense. I think he is the next best scoring option on that team as far as all around offense. All right. I could see this team competing in the second round of the playoffs, depending on how things all shake out. I couldn't necessarily see them in the Western Conference Finals, not without making. They need to make a couple of adjustments. The Lakers got a lot of things to figure out in general. They got a lot of huge decisions to make. Game 3, let's talk about the Bucks. Let's talk about the Bucks and the Celtics, because this was one of my favorite games of the day. One of the ones that I really had my eye on, and I expected this to end up being the best game of the day. One could argue that it was. I think just like the Mavericks, though, the Bucks need to figure out how they can put a little more talent around Giannis. It's a great defensive team, one of the best rebounding teams because of Bobby Portis and Giannis. But they are old. It's an old team. They really lack athleticism. They have no real ability to create shots, even with a healthy Chris Middleton. Because to me, he's good at best as a scorer on like a consistent basis. He's good at best. They have size, but they are slow. Bobby Portis to me is a big part of that team on both sides of the ball. But this is a wild and aggressive dude. All right, he take ill-advised and bad shots that could lead to transition chances, opportunities for the other team. Giannis trying to get back on defense and make the play. Giannis is one of the league leaders in fouls per game. Right. I think if you can keep Giannis out the paint, which teams have had success doing, that team is in serious trouble. Right. They don't have ball movement. Not regular, not well enough, good enough ball movement like regularly. And they don't have depth. They have no bench. I think Joe Ingles was a good addition for them, but that only helped with as far as like perimeter shooting. His effort is there on defense, but again, his age stands out. Javon Carter is a solid bench player with IQ, good IQ. I think his height makes him a liability on the defensive end. And again, they have IQ and effort, but they need to find a way to add some youth around that team. I don't think the will of Yanni is enough in this league. It's no longer enough in this league. I'm not sure. I'm not sure with them. The Celtics are, to me, the Celtics are the NBA champions. All right. When I look at this team, I don't see no real holes. They look a lot like, in a sense, they look a lot like, in the sense that they have no holes, they look a lot like champions. They look a lot like the Golden State Warriors. All right. They're a battle-tested team. They play defense. They have guys who can play iso ball and or create scoring opportunities for others. They have guards who can control the tempo of the game. Everybody on the team can shoot. I mean, it'd be hard for anybody in the league outside of a fully locked in Golden State Warriors team. Maybe if the Celtics matched up against the Nets, it could be a pretty tough matchup in the East. I think because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving together, that's just so much scoring power. I think they might be able to get anybody in the Eastern Conference in the best of 7. The Nets, I mean. If the doors opened up to where the Grizzlies and the Celtics met in the finals, then I think the Grizzlies could give the Celtics a run for their money with their grit, their determination. I mean, this is a pretty solid team too. But again, that's if things were to line up that way. I don't believe that the Grizzlies can make it through the Western Conference and make it into the finals. But I think it could be a rough matchup for the Celtics as far as, just again, from a matchup standpoint. The Celtics are still definitely better and more experienced than any other team, realistically. The Heat could make it tough, but I wouldn't know what to expect. I couldn't take them serious because we don't know what to expect from Jay Booty, right? Have no clue what to expect from Jay Booty. To me, the Celtics are the champions, barring any injuries. That's really that's I'm calling that one now. I got the Celtics winning the whole thing this year. They look like the championship team. They look like they really ready to run it back. Um, Game 4, the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are contenders, but they are not champions yet. Obviously, they have never won the finals or the Western Conference Finals. But what I mean is that they not quite they not quite the type of team who even ready to be champs. They really look young and inexperienced at time. I would also suggest that instead of Dylan Brooks and Desmond Bain trying to do more ISO ball or creating their own shots, I would suggest that Coach Jenkins try to run more action, more plays to get these dudes open and try to get them some open looks instead of making it harder on them. Turn Desmond Bain into a shooting guard in the mode of a Reggie Miller, a Rip Hamilton, a Ray Allen, one of the better one of the Clay Thompson type of deal because he got that type of game in him. All right. I would suggest they do that. Dylan Brooks, to me, is not a guy who should be just trying to create his own shot. I think he is more effective off ball without the ball in his hand. They can try to use him to open up the floor or cut and dive. I think that's more so a better fit for him with the Memphis Grizzlies, right? Uh some people might would argue that maybe the Grizzlies wouldn't want to show their playbook. I call it bullshit. Listen, outside of the playoffs or the play-in, the Christmas game is the biggest stage during the regular season. All eyes on you, and normally against a rival opponent, or at the or at least a fairly even matchup for you, right? And the Grizzlies showed that they are still not ready for the big stage, which is why I have them being bounced in the second round, or at best fighting hard to win the second round, only to be put out in 6 in the Western Conference Finals. The Warriors, to me, are still the best all-around team, not only in a conference but in the league. I think they showed they championship experience without two of their best players right now, in Stephen Curry and Andrew Wiggins. I think the young guys showed that they can step up and be the players that we expect them to be, that I expect them to be, right? I think white boy Dante was a great pickup for them, great utility player who can do it all, high IQ in every area of the game. I mean, despite their current record, just like LeBron in the playoffs, the Warriors have a chance. I mean, as long as they make it, and they should absolutely not be slept on. I didn't really realize, I think this might be undervalued or underappreciated, that they still have they main 4 guys that they won all 4 of their chips with. Looney won 3 with them. White Dante is a champion with the Milwaukee Bucks, even though he missed the playoff run because he dealt with that injury, right? But the IQ was still there for a dude like White Dante. And then the young dudes prove that they are battle tested and ready to go, right? Outside of the Celtics and the Sixers because of Embiid, I don't see nobody being able to beat them in the best of 7. And that's really anybody in the Western Conference. I'll be very surprised with a fully healthy team, a Stephen Curry. I'd be very surprised if anybody beat them. I know that things not really hitting right now, clicking on offense right now, and that they have a pretty fucked up record. But again, this is a team that I'm just not gonna sleep on it at all. Game 5, I'll say this. Recently, My G asked me, man. He said, why is CP the point guard, right? And I told him, I gave him my 10 cents on the question at least, but I had to think about it. CP has been healthy lately and has not been able to be a closer for this team. Now he is a floor general. He can make defensive plays and he has a bag full of veteran tricks. But when the game is on the line, I think he should, at this stage of his career, be proving currently that he should be the guy with the ball in his hands, taking the final shots or completely taking control of the final possessions to close a game, right? Uh Not even just to close a game, but it during any point in the game in general, when momentum is starting to shift, CP need to be able to take control more, in my opinion. Book is not a Book is having a career year as far as numbers, and to me, it's still not enough for this team. I think he has to average a few more points or turn up his assist numbers. Probably both. Probably both, but definitely need to be hovering somewhere really around 30 points per game in order for this team to take it to um, another level. Aiton is a dude that's a 20 and 10 guy. He can shoot the ball better than Yanni. That's just something that I noticed in this game right here. I strongly believe he should be getting more touches in that offense. Uh, he got a lot more room to grow and develop. Real young player, real skilled player. I think having an all defensive guy in Mikal Bridges is huge for the Phoenix Suns. But I think this dude, he can be special, man, if he can figure out a way to contribute more on the offensive end, whether it's points or assists or even hustle plays. He got to be able to find a way to contribute more to this team. Um, who has already proved that they can make it to the big dance, and he got to be able to find a way to help get them over that hump. Now, when it comes to the Nuggets, I think they found a perfect match when they signed Aaron Gordon. Um, he probably won't get most improved, but I think he should at least be considered. Reason why, because you got guys like Shai Gilgeous, guys like Tyrese Halliburton. They playing really good, really good. They having really good seasons, man. And I'm leaving somebody out actually, but these are the two dudes in my mind that's really having most improved player of the year award, those type of seasons at least. And all in all, whatever the case may be, I think Aaron Gordon should be considered a candidate. Um, I think he is more valuable to this team than Jamal Murray. I said it before and I'll say that again, just because he has such good slashing ability and he can actually knock down perimeter shots. Right. I think he's more valuable to this team than I think he is more valuable to this team than a guy like Jamal Murray or even Michael Porter Jr. Um, they have good depth. They got guys who can shoot, defend, slash, create. To me, it's just not enough defense to cover up for the fact that Jokic um, is not able to play a lot of defense itself. I think in the best of seven, I don't think they could beat any of the other guys who are a threat to win it all, right? Like the Warriors, no. The Grizzlies, no. The Sixers, no. The Celtics, no. The Bucks, no. I think they got a lot of great pieces on the team, but not many of them are really tested, and they really need a guy who can lock down and be sort of a defensive anchor um, on that side of the ball. Don't get me wrong, they have guys who can play defense, give good effort, but I don't think, again, they have championship level defense. And I think that they could possibly make it to the Western Conference Finals and get bounced in six, right? Overall, though, that's my analysis for these Christmas games. That's my wrap up 2022. Listen, if you check this out, I appreciate you, man. As always, I'll catch you next time. Peace.